Tonight on CTV News at 6, a deadly construction zone crash. A pickup hits a boom lift holding a worker.
The impact moved the lift a fair distance. There was vehicle parts everywhere.
Answers demanded by the parents of an Edmonton man who died in the Royal Alex ER.
This poor kid, he had a tough life.
And
just a drawn-out fantasy.
How do you get a really good lineup?
Edmonton Folk Fest performers unveiled.
You make sure every artist is really good.
One more really hot day tomorrow with temperatures up around 30 once again, and then some big changes on the way through the weekend. Heavy rain Sunday and into early next week.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. The County of Barrhead has issued a state of local emergency due to a wildfire. Minutes ago, an evacuation order was expanded to the entire Thunder Lake subdivision. An Alberta emergency alert says there are structural fires in the subdivision. People in the area must leave immediately. They can take Highway 18 to Barrhead and register at the County of Barrhead office. Travelers are being asked to avoid the region. Witnesses saw fire trucks leaving Mayerthorpe to help battle the fire, and this is a developing story. We'll provide updates as soon as they become available. You can also find up-to-date information at ctvnewsedmonton.ca and also via the Alberta Emergency Alert website and their app. A Spruce Grove man is dead and a worker is seriously injured after a pickup truck smashed into a highway construction site early this morning. Jeremy Thompson reports.
A mangled Dodge Durango sits on Highway 16 next to the boom lift it smashed into just before 3 o'clock Thursday morning.
The impact moved the lift a fair distance. There was vehicle parts everywhere.
That includes its engine, visible near the yellow line. The driver, a 44-year-old man from Spruce Grove, was declared dead at the scene, and he's not the only victim. A 59-year-old man from Calgary was working in the basket of the lift when it was hit.
He had some serious injuries as a result of that and was transported to hospital.
A product page for the same model of boom lift says it weighs 38,000 pounds, or about 17 metric tons. It appears to have been pushed out from under the bridge and across a lane by the force of the collision.
It's almost like hitting a wall.
A picture provided by RCMP shows the right lane was closed with all the usual signage and barricades. The worst damage to the front of the SUV is on the driver's side. RCMP investigators are still reconstructing the scene.
It could be that the driver may not have seen the lift at the time, saw the lift at the last moment, and tried to make some corrective actions.
Transportation Minister Devin Dreeshen offers his condolences to everyone involved and goes on to say this incident is a stark reminder of why drivers must slow down and stay alert in construction zones where crews are often working just meters from traffic. Highway 16 was closed in both directions for a time. It has since reopened. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Parkland County.
An Edmonton couple is looking for answers from Alberta Health Services. They say their son died waiting in the emergency room of the Royal Alexandra Hospital earlier this month. As Connor Hogg reports, they're still waiting for confirmation from AHS.
This poor kid, he had a tough life.
Alan and Penny Smith say they're living with the constant reminder of the death of Alan's 33-year-old son, Travis. The Smiths say Travis was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was 16. He received AISH and lived in an apartment until he was evicted 3 years ago. From then on, Travis lived on the streets.
Around West Edmonton Mall, because he used to hang around. Every time I was over there, I was looking over my shoulder, trying to...
because his disease took over, sometimes he was unapproachable.
Almost 3 years to the day Travis was evicted, the Smiths got a phone call from Travis's mom. She told them police said Travis had died from a drug overdose at the Royal Alexandra Hospital. The Smiths say they later found out it happened while he was waiting for care in the emergency room.
We love the child, we love the man. We just didn't have the opportunity to guide him through life. He fell through the system.
About a week later, the Smiths started hearing media reports about an unnamed man dying in the Royal Alex's ER. They decided it was time to share his story.
He deserves to have some dignity and a name put to him. They are not telling us that was Travis. We have called this patient relations. We've gone to the hospital. We've tried numerous times. They've called us back and they will say this is private information for the patient and the family. Well, the patient is dead and we're the family.
We asked the Minister of Hospital and Surgical Health Services why the family is being left in the dark. A spokesperson says questions regarding protocol around what can and cannot be released should be directed to AHS. AHS told us it's looking into it. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
In January, the province promised a triage physician program after another ER death late last year. Earlier this month, the Alberta Medical Association's president said it is still not in place. Women escaping domestic violence in rural parts of Alberta may soon have a tougher time finding help. Provincial funding cuts have left more than a dozen shelters debating losing staff or programs. Amanda Anderson reports.
We don't want deaths, and that will happen because there's not enough services.
The women's shelter in Rocky Mountain House helped more than 200 women and children fleeing domestic violence last year, but its director says it had to turn away more than double that number because of capacity.
Being a 21-bed shelter and not having affordable housing, low-income housing in our community, we always have to look outside the community. And so that means our shelter gets kind of bottlenecked.
Easton worries about the future now that the UCP government is cutting 5% of its funding.
Are we going to close programs or am I going to terminate staff? And if I terminate staff, then we're closing programs. So I'm not sure what this is going to look like.
The province says extensive engagement was done to update its funding approach, one it says considers geography, community needs, and operating costs. The head of the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters says she was involved in those discussions, but says there was never any mention of cuts.
It doesn't seem like a big number, but when you're already struggling, when you're already in a deficit, it's a huge number. And 5% could be anywhere from, say, $30,000 to $150,000. So that's going to look different from every shelter.
Last week, the province did announce more money for many shelters, but the ACWS says it didn't realize it was at the expense of more than a dozen rural ones.
We want to be grateful that those of us that, so those of the shelters that are getting the money are getting an increase, but also, why isn't everyone or why isn't at least the funding staying stable for those that didn't get an increase?
The ACWS has launched an advocacy campaign asking Albertans to reach out to the Children and Family Services Minister to provide those answers.
Our government has not provided us with enough time. We need time to figure out how this is going to work.
They're asking the July 1st date cuts are scheduled to take effect be delayed a year. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta police agencies are receiving millions in provincial funding to fight organized crime, including extortions. Edmonton Police, Calgary Police, RCMP, and Alert will receive a total $8 million. $2.2 million will go to the Edmonton Police Service. The money will be used to purchase surveillance, intelligence, and forensic equipment to help disrupt criminal operations and enterprises. In 2024, EPS said it concluded its investigation into a series of extortions in Edmonton with 6 arrests and 54 charges. A small resurgence after that prompted the creation of a joint forces operation with RCMP.
These files are often sophisticated and technology-enabled, requiring significant time, coordination, and specialized expertise to protect our communities. Project Gaslight demonstrates the scale of these investigations, requiring nearly a year's worth of work and about $650,000 in resources.
EPS continues to work with RCMP on extortion cases. Its last update in March said it identified 5 additional suspects operating in the Edmonton area. 2 of them, including the ringleader, were removed from Canada. The UCP government has formally confirmed the date and format of the October 19th referendum and the question on separation. Premier Danielle Smith and her cabinet issued an order in council today confirming details of the vote. The separation question will ask Albertans to pick one of 2 options. Either Alberta should remain a province of Canada, or the government of Alberta should commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada. The cabinet order also confirms the vote will not be binding. Mail-in ballots will not be allowed. The summer's folk music festival lineup has been released. Thousands will gather on Gallagher Hill to take in headliners including Nathaniel Rateliff, Three Sacred Souls, Cat Power, and Of Monsters and Men. As Curtis Goodrum explains, one local artist will have her dream come true.
How do you get a really good lineup? And I answered, just popped into my head, you make sure every artist is really good.
Edmonton's folk music festival lineup is out now. Kaylee G is one of 4 artists from a local music school who will play this summer's Folk Fest.
I describe my sound as cowboy pop, kind of. So I was saying earlier today, it kind of lives right in between like Johnny Cash and Chapel Roan or Sabrina Carpenter.
She says she's been attending Folk Fest for years. Stepping onto the stage became her dream.
Just seeing my name on the poster feels so cool and so surreal next to, like, again, people who I like really have looked up to for so long. It feels huge.
Kaylee G is one of 60 artists performing here at Gallagher Park August 6th to 9th. Organizers say, aside from the performances, not much is changing with this year's folk music festival.
It's the same size. It's been the same size for at least the last 10 years. We're maxed out. We don't know how many kids are coming down. We sell 14,000 tickets a day, 11,000 weekend passes and 3,000 singles.
The price of a 4-day pass is increasing by $10 for adults and seniors. Other tickets will cost the same as previous years.
We have this thing with our audience. If they keep buying tickets, we can keep bringing in the level of talent that we're bringing in.
Wickham says many artists return to Edmonton thanks to the crowd.
So I think there's kind of a real meeting that you don't get in a concert, and it's different. And our reputation is very good for hospitality. Western Canada.
Kaylee G will get her opportunity to play in front of her hometown crowd on the show's opening day.
I've been manifesting and hoping would happen for a long time, so this feels really huge for me.
Tickets go on sale June 6th. Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
Repair work on the Dawson Bridge begins with a full closure overnight tomorrow, Friday into Saturday. The bridge will be closed from 8 p.m. Friday to 7 a.m. Saturday. Starting Monday, a single-lane closure will be in place on the bridge for 2 weeks. Other full closures are scheduled for the weekends of June 19th and 26th. The city says work on the bridge is expected to be completed this summer. People from Spruce Grove and Stony Plain are coming together to support families facing food insecurity. Tri-Region Hunger Day brings volunteers, sponsors, and community partners to grocery stores across the city. Grocery stores are accepting non-perishable food items and donations for the Parkland County Food Bank. Organizers say even small contributions can make a big impact as food insecurity continues to rise. Their goal is to raise $60,000 and 9,000 kilograms of food.
We thought we would use the World Hunger Day that falls on May 28th every year, create our Tri-Region Hunger Day. Not only collect the food and funds needed to feed families over the summer, but have some community conversation about what the need is and why people need help.
Try Hunger Day wraps up tonight, but organizers say the impact will last long after the final donation. A local organization that supports migrants is raising money to help newcomers find jobs. The Plum Blossom is an annual lunch held by the Edmonton Newcomer Centre. Every year the centre helps more than 10,000 migrants access services and find work. This year it's hoping to raise $65,000.
So this is an opportunity for funding partners and community to show their support for migrants, to show that migrants are important here in Alberta, here in Edmonton, and they do this through participating as well as, donating to the organization.
And our Josh Clausen emceed today's fundraiser. Josh is here now. Busy day for you, Josh. The fundraiser and now an all-important forecast for west of Edmonton.
Yeah, not great news. Doesn't look like they're going to see a whole lot of rain in through that area. Let's quickly run you through what Futurecast is projecting here. We do have some showers and thunderstorms that have built up this afternoon in through the foothills, and some of those will track off to the northeast, but watch how they fizzle out before they hit that Barhead area. So I don't think you're getting any rain tonight. The wind is probably going to be about 10 to 20 kilometers per hour out of the northwest. Tomorrow, again, there's a chance, especially late in the day, but you'll notice the modeling doesn't really pick up all that much in the way of actual moisture as that chance of a shower or thunderstorm rolls through. But fingers crossed, they do get at least some precipitation late tomorrow. Tonight's going to be a dry one, though. 29 degrees here in Edmonton. It should be a dry night for us here in the city as well. We actually got to 29.9 for a daytime high. We'll round that up to 30. It's been partly cloudy skies all day today as temperatures have sat 10 degrees above average. That's the shot right now from the CTV drone. Blue skies hanging over the Edmonton area. On either end of the province, both to the west and to the east, we do have some showers and thunderstorms, but I don't think any of that's coming through the city later on tonight. Storms right now around Hinton and then pushing into the Lloydminster area. From the south, we have some thunderstorm activity. Here in the city, though, just partly cloudy skies overnight tonight. Be a warm one, 26 degrees mid-evening, 17 for the low, and up around 30 or 31 tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, energy sector reality check.
Building a pipeline to the West Coast, to keep it very simple, is probably twice the cost of just going south.
Energy leaders gather in our province to discuss uncertain times and why there's still optimism in the industry. Also next.
We'll be giving out nearly $2 million worth of awards and prizes and medals.
Some of Canada's best and brightest are in our city competing for scholarships in STEM.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by the music of Harry Potter with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
Separation was among the topics discussed at a roundtable with energy leaders today in Calgary. The main focus was how to get a proponent for a pipeline to the coast. Industry leaders we spoke with speculate ballooning costs will get in the way. That includes paying for shipping and emissions reduction initiatives and investment to grow production.
The governments have two choices. They either keep the existing regulatory environment, it's twice the cost, and the governments just say, fine, we'll pay the difference ourselves relative to industry. Or the government say, you know what we're going to do? We're really going to do the heavy lifting, make the regulatory changes required so it actually ends up being cost competitive to develop an oil pipeline in Canada.
The Prime Minister was in New York today touting the energy sector to American investors. Business leaders say they're pleased with his message, but at the end of the day, the price for energy dictates more than talk. Also announced at the roundtable, energy company South Bow says it will not go ahead with a partial revival of the Keystone XL pipeline until there is more guaranteed permit stability south of the border. A new program is now available to help Edmontonians with disabilities find work. Pathways held its Edmonton location's grand opening today. It's run by Open Door Group, which has been operating in BC for the past 50 years. The community-based program helps people facing barriers like disabilities find jobs. It works with local companies to find the positions. Pathways says sometimes the hardest challenge for their clients is just showing up.
Sometimes it's that first step is the challenging piece. Like, do I face that fear of coming in? And we've tried to create a warm and welcoming space where people feel psychologically supported, but welcome.
Pathways creates an individualized program for each person and uses wraparound supports to help them. Still ahead, cross-country tour. The local men's choir will appear on stages across Canada after making history at the Junos. Also next.
The magic is something we've never before seen here, and it is really, really mind-blowing and incredible.
The 45th Annual International Children's Festival of the Arts promises a magical experience for all ages.
It'll be another day of heat tomorrow here in the Edmonton area, and then some changes are on the way through the weekend. Still pretty dry Saturday, but soaking Sunday and a whole lot cooler. Forecasts next.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Let's talk about hail. We have, for a thunderstorm and for hail to form inside that thunderstorm, we have to have wind that blows up. Everybody tell me what that's called. It's called an updraft. That's right, because it's a draft of air that goes up.
Go like this, tip your heads towards the ceiling and blow as hard as you can.
That's an updraft. Some of you needed to brush your teeth a little bit better this morning. So that updraft, when it happens inside the clouds, the ice crystals bounce around inside there, and if it's strong enough, those ice crystals get big, turn into chunks of ice that fall out of the clouds that we call hail. Now, here's the really cool thing about hail. Inside that cloud, there's a freezing level. And above that, where it's a little bit colder, the water freezes really quickly. And it takes on a different color. It's a little more cloudy. And then in the bottom half of the cloud, where it freezes a little slower, it's a little clearer. And so the neat thing about hail is you could take a hailstone, you could cut it open, and you would see rings inside, a clear layer of ice, and then a white layer of ice, and a clear layer of ice, like rings in a tree. Isn't that cool? Yeah. You don't sound convinced that that's actually that cool.
I do.
I think it is too. Thank you. These are the Grade 5s from? That's right. Smart kids out here in Fort Saskatchewan. Forecasters of the future. And you are...
CTV Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Our top story, people in the Thunder Lake subdivision of Barrhead County are being asked to leave their homes because of a wildfire. An Alberta emergency alert says there are structural fires in the subdivision 20 kilometers west of Barrhead. People in the area must leave immediately. They can take Highway 18 to Barrhead and register at the County of Barrhead office. Travelers are being asked to avoid the region. You can find up-to-date information at ctvnewsedmonton.ca as well as the Alberta Emergency Alert website and on their app. Quite warm and dry out there, Josh.
Yeah.
Big change coming, but not for a little bit.
Yeah, Sunday it looks like when most of the rain's going to start to roll in, at least for our area. Further south, Saturday you'll get some rain. We'll get to all that in a second. First, take a look outside right now. River Valley Skycams brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free, 29 degrees. Get to 29.9 for a daytime high today. So we'll round that up to 30, 29s, Fort McMurray, Cold Lake, 31s here in east central Alberta. Even Grand Prairie got close to 30 for a daytime high this afternoon. We do have some severe thunderstorm watches and warnings for the yellow and red zones. The red zones, where you have the warnings. In the pink area, which also includes some of these areas in yellow and red, that heat warning remains in effect. So let's throw a little radar on here. You can see these storms south and east of Lloydminster. Not so much those ones. That one there has the chance to produce some significant hail. And it looks like it's not really moving all that much. So if you're underneath that, between Provost and Czar, yeah, it is pouring to go along with the hail. South Paradise Valley, that one probably has some sizable hail as well. That one does look like it's maybe moving just a little bit more. And then back further to the west, that storm cell right there, that one has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning. It's off to the south of Edson. It's not going to last all that long. This is going to just sort of kill itself here as it moves further to the east off of the foothills. So there's the other severe thunderstorms hugging the international border. Look at this cloud cover here arching to the north. Outside of those thunderstorms that are sort of on either end of the province, the big story has been the heat from this upper ridge. Now that's going to move off to the east over the next couple of days, and that is going to set the stage, or at least help to set the stage for some heavier, steadier rain to close the weekend. Those thunderstorms coming off the foothills, as we said, they're going to fall apart before they hit the Edmonton area, so we should stay dry tonight. We'll see a bit of cloud cover move through midday tomorrow. There might be a shower, maybe even a thunderstorm, sort of late morning or around lunchtime tomorrow. I'm not saying the entire city gets hit, but there's a slight chance, especially just off to the east of the city, a little better chance to see some thunderstorms developing, possibly severe thunderstorms in northwestern Alberta tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. So we'll keep a close eye on that part of the province late tomorrow. Again, looks like a lot of that tomorrow night misses the Edmonton region. And then big upper level low starts to develop off to the south. And that is going to dump significant amounts of rain over the course of several days, Sunday, Monday, into Tuesday for parts of the province, because that upper ridge we were showing you earlier, that's going to be off to the east here, and it's going to block this system and prevent it from going anywhere. And so there's still a lot of uncertainty with exactly how much rain any given area is going to get, but you can see in the purples and pinks here, that's where the heaviest of the rain is going to fall, especially in some of these pink zones where you could see over 100 millimeters of rain over the course of a couple of days. That's over 10 centimeters of rain. 29s right now. Grand Prairie, Edmonton's 30, and Lloydminster 29, and Fort McMurray. Daytime high tomorrow here in the city should hit 30 once again. We'll start the day at about 17. Keep in mind 20 is the average high for this time of year. Tomorrow's your last really hot day. Still not bad Saturday. 23, just a little gusty, gust to about 40 kilometers per hour. Best chance for rain Saturday is going to be late Saturday night, and then heavy, steady rain, a lot cooler, and gusty wind for Sunday, Monday.
All right, thank you, Josh. A local Juno award-winning group is preparing for a national tour. The Axios Men's Ensemble and the tenors and basses of Pro Coro Canada are the first men's choir group to win a Juno. They're also the first choir from outside of Quebec or Ontario to win, and the first a cappella album to win. Their album about the Russian invasion of Ukraine won the Classical Album of the Year.
Just to be there, we felt like total imposters, and then to hear the name, Axios win, and we were just dumbfounded. All of us people were in tears, people were jumping up and down. It was quite a scene.
The Axios group features 50 singers. They'll perform in Edmonton in November. The International Children's Festival of the Arts in St. Albert is promising to be even more magical this year. Special preview today included breakdancing, musical performances, and more. That included festival staple Fizzlewit, who will take kids on a fairy-finding adventure. Festival organizers say this year there will be a mix of old favorites and new experiences, including a French magic show.
It's about a magician and his unruly assistant that happens to be an inanimate object come to life. And the magic is something we've never before seen here. And it is really, really mind-blowing and incredible.
Don't tell no one, but I would say that here in St. Albert, we have some of the finest fairy finders you can possibly imagine.
The Children's Festival runs tomorrow through Monday. Tickets are available online and at the box office. Coming up, the Prime Minister sells his vision for Canada to a big money American audience.
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
Speaking to the room and an audience of one in the White House.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Morning Minute, presented by Bath Depot.
Hi everyone, it's Kimberly Wynn from Your Morning. We're checking out the newest location of Bath Depot in Edmonton's south side along Calgary Trail. Don, can you tell us about the newest store location and a promotion happening right now?
Yeah, this is our 50th location in the company. It's in South Edmonton. We have everything here that you need for your renovation project to create your escape at home. We have bathtubs and toilets and vessel sinks and vanities and faucets and mirrors. We have all that you need to create your escape.
What's the promotion?
The promotion this week is 20% off bathtubs and an additional 30% off of other selected merchandise as well.
Excellent, Don. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want more information on Bath Depot, head to their website, bathdepot.com.
Prime Minister Mark Carney used President Trump's own words as he addressed elite business leaders in New York, saying a strong Canada will help make America great again. Today's speech touted Canada's plans for economic growth while still inviting investment from our closest neighbor. CTV's Graham Richardson reports.
In the heart of the world's financial capital, Prime Minister Mark Carney delivered his message of change in Canada. This is the Economic Club of New York, where presidents and prime ministers have come to speak for more than 100 years. Carney never mentioned President Donald Trump by name, but he didn't have to.
Canada Strong will help make America great again.
Whether it's LNG announcements, potential new pipelines, or boosting defense spending, Carney told the home of big American money the story of a different Canada under his leadership.
That future should include a new partnership with Canada, a true partnership that reimagines cooperation in specific sectors that are deeply challenged by global competition, a partnership with a different Canada, a stronger Canada, a more confident Canada.
Back in Ottawa, a different perspective from the opposition, accusing the Liberals of chasing investment away for years.
His elbows were again flapping up and down in the rhetorical chicken dance as he cannot seem to decide if integration with the U.S. is a strength or a weakness. He's argued passionately for both positions in the last 3 months alone.
Carney also spent a significant amount of time here on Canada's military spending, especially in the north.
We did need to step up to take more responsibility for Arctic security. We're doing that now.
And support for Ukraine in a conflict, he says, is significantly tilting against Russia.
But Russia's losing 35,000 troops a month. 22 to 23, depending on the month, of those troops are killed. They're losing troops faster than they can replace them.
So no mention of Donald Trump by name, but Justin Trudeau's name didn't come up either. Mark Carney signaling to American business Canada is open for business again, hoping they'll hear it, and also hoping the audience of one in the White House heard it too. Graham Richardson, CTV News, New York.
Ahead of tonight's visit to Ottawa by China's foreign minister, the Carney government is facing increasing pressure from the Chinese community, human rights activists, and the opposition to bring up transnational repression during those meetings. As CTV's Judy Trin reports, there are also concerns about a security agreement the Prime Minister is refusing to release.
Signs of what awaits China's top diplomat. Protest from Uyghur dissidents and religious practitioners of Falun Gong. Both groups have been persecuted by Beijing, including Li Zhehe. His brother is in a Chinese prison.
Li Zhong was abducted from our family home by communist Chinese police.
The demonstrators want Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand to raise the issues of transnational repression with her counterpart, Wang Yi. A particular concern, a security agreement signed by Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Xi Jinping in January.
The Prime Minister have refused to disclose it. When will they produce the memorandum of understanding that was signed with Communist China?
We don't make a habit of releasing security documents with other governments for reasons of operational security. That is standard practice for this government.
The Prime Minister renewed a previous agreement signed by Justin Trudeau in 2016. Since then, the two Michaels were arrested and detained, Chinese police stations were found operating in Canada, and the foreign interference trial of former RCMP officer William Miker revealed that at least 25 permanent residents have been coerced into returning to China.
We cannot keep catering to the regime that is the top perpetrator of transnational repression in the world.
When Yi arrives, deepening economic ties will be on the table. But this Canadian citizen who received asylum after being detained by Beijing hopes human rights will be too.
We should not forget Canadian values.
The last time Wang Yi set foot on Parliament Hill was in 2016. He berated a Canadian reporter who asked about China's record of human rights. Yi isn't expected to take questions this time. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The United States and Iran have reportedly reached a tentative deal to extend their ceasefire by 60 days.
Is there an agreement with Iran on the table?
The teams have been going back and forth, and President Trump has made it very clear, he talked about it at the cabinet meeting, that he has several red lines.
The White House has not confirmed the deal directly, but Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said any Iran deal must involve opening the Strait of Hormuz. Reports say President Trump still needs to sign off on the deal, which is also said to include launching talks on Iran's nuclear program. Canada, the U.S., and Mexico are aligning public health travel measures in a bid to protect citizens and visitors during the World Cup. Details of the measures have not been released. They apply to people coming from African regions at the greatest risk from Ebola. Canada is already banning residents of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan from entering the country for 90 days. Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and other foreign nationals who have been to the affected areas in recent weeks and do not have symptoms will have to quarantine for 21 days. That starts Saturday. Still ahead, groundbreaking treatment.
Allow patients with hemophilia B to lead next to normal lives.
The gene therapy that could change the way rare blood disorders are treated across Canada. And Off-season injury star Oilers defenseman Evan Bouchard takes a major hit while playing in Europe. Details next. There's a live look at accidental beach from the CTV drone. A 30-degree day in Edmonton, another warm one on the way tomorrow. But a big change later on this weekend. Lots of rain. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by Alberta iGaming Corporation. For integrity, for fun, for Alberta.
Looking at today's market numbers, the Canadian dollar up slightly, still near 72 cents U.S. Oil was up 22 cents, closing the day just under $89 a barrel. Gold is up nearly $51. On the stock market, the TSX gained 105 points, the Dow Jones 24 points on the day. The CFL has signed a new 6-year broadcast agreement. Edmonton Elks games will remain with Bell Media as the CFL's majority broadcaster. Most games will air on TSN. The Grey Cup will also be simulcast on CTV and Crave. Starting next year, streaming service DAZN will carry a Saturday night game each week. The deal also includes a partnership with YouTube for preseason games and original content. CTV News is a division of Bell Media. Oilers defenseman Evan Bouchard is dealing with an unknown injury after a hit at the World Hockey Championship in Switzerland. Playing for Canada, Bouchard left the quarterfinal game against the USA following a hit from American Ryan Lindgren. The Seattle Kraken defenseman was tossed from the game and given a 5-minute major penalty for an illegal check to the head. The severity of Bouchard's injury has not been revealed. A groundbreaking gene therapy is now available for some patients with hemophilia, a rare bleeding disorder. CTV's Pauline Chen spoke with the first person to receive the treatment in Canada.
Basil Abushawish was born with hemophilia B.
I have 17 of my family has had same thing, hemophilia.
And it was hard, taking frequent injections and avoiding many normal activities.
You're trying to play, to enjoy with the kids, but you couldn't because you make causing bleeding or injury.
Management of hemophilia B typically requires intravenous injections on a regular basis to help prevent bleeding. This new treatment will hopefully eliminate the need for those regular infusions and allow patients with hemophilia B to lead next to normal lives.
On May 13th, Abushawish became the first person in Canada to receive Hemgenix, a single infusion gene therapy.
Basically carries a functional copy of the factor 9 gene to liver cells, and it basically gives instructions to liver to start producing factor 9 from the liver.
That's the clotting factor missing in people with hemophilia B. Dr. Chai Pua calls Hemgenix groundbreaking.
It was such a powerful moment for everyone, and I think that to witness that possibility that this single infusion could meaningfully reduce the burden over many years was both humbling and inspiring for our team.
For Abushawish, it means the start of a new, healthier life.
When my doctor told me your body good to go, first thing I will go to play soccer.
Hemgenix is already used in several other countries. It's being funded in Ontario and BC for patients that meet established criteria. Other provinces are still working out funding. The Canadian Hemophilia Society says gene therapy is a long-anticipated development.
It is reassuring to see that work being done and that companies are looking to hopefully make that jump and make that same treatment available for patients with hemophilia A and hopefully other bleeding disorders as well.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The Alberta government confirms it is reviewing the treatment and says while there is no timeline for approval, it is committed to a thorough and timely assessment. Edmonton is hosting some of the brightest young minds in the country this week for the Canada-wide Science Fair. The annual event is underway at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Hundreds of students are presenting projects on math, science, and engineering. Organizers say it's the largest youth STEM event in Canada with prizes and scholarships available.
We'll be giving out nearly $2 million worth of awards and prizes and medals and so on. Most of that is university entrance scholarships, but we do have cash prizes and, of course, and our medals, which are highly coveted by the students who come here.
The event runs until Saturday. Coming up, Wife Wanted.
Had to think outside the box and
think of a way that I can stick out more than all the online profiles.
A local man's new dating strategy is turning heads in West Edmonton.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
A man in Spruce Grove who's looking for love is turning his attention to a different kind of screen. Instead of swiping on an app, he's using digital billboards. Nerman Issa has his story.
This billboard on a busy West Edmonton intersection features ads of all kinds.
There's my sign.
Including one looking for love.
Marriage is very important to me, and I'm looking for a life partner, a wife.
Spencer Griffin Beale is taking an unconventional approach to finding love. He's advertising his desire to get married through a billboard campaign.
I had to think outside the box and think of a way that I can stick out more than all the online profiles and everything.
MarySpencer.ca splashed on the ads. There you can learn more about the 40-year-old and send a submission if you're interested. He says conventional dating methods just aren't panning out.
My impression that I got from the dating event I was at last night was that everybody, just like me, is frustrated with the online dating.
It makes the companies a lot more money if we're kept swiping longer.
This University of Alberta professor says the dating landscape has changed. Technology has made it easier to meet people, but maybe not the right people.
Lots of concerns about bad actors or maybe dishonest users, and enhanced digital tools to facilitate people not putting their real selves forward.
A local matchmaker is applauding Griffin Beale's billboards.
Everyone wants love. I think there's a human nature in us that we want companionship, and so if you're not finding that, I think that it's really amazing that you're going out there and you're doing those things.
Megan Tishik says she's seeing others getting creative.
A lot of people will use business cards. They'll have their name, number on it, Instagram, whatever it is. It'll say, if you're single, let me know. Or I see friends will put on like a QR code or something, and they'll be like, this is my single friend.
For Griffin Beale, he's hoping this billboard campaign works.
If they're interested, just don't be afraid to reach out. My pictures on the site may look mean, but I'm not mean.
And that his future wife is just a click away. Nerman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
And quickly now, returning to our top story one last time. Residents of the Thunderbird and Summerlee subdivisions in Barrhead County must evacuate because of a wildfire. Alberta Emergency Alert says there are structural fires in the Thunder Lake subdivision south of the Provincial Park boat launch. Anyone in the area can take Highway 18 to Barrhead and register at the County of Barrhead office. You can find up-to-date information on the Alberta Emergency Alert website as well as on their app.
As we said earlier, it doesn't look like they'll get any rain tonight. Maybe tomorrow evening. Here in Edmonton, 30 degrees tomorrow, partly cloudy. One more really hot day. There's a slight chance you might see a shower or thunderstorm around lunchtime tomorrow. Much better chance that we're going to get some rain here Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. Windy as well for the weekend. Not bad Saturday, 23, but 12 or 13 for daytime highs Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's cooler than it's been for overnight lows the past couple of days. And heavy, steady rain across much of central and north central Alberta. So many areas could use the rain for sure. So it's not the worst forecast in the world. A lot of people with gardens and the like saying, finally.
Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, 12 or 13, that's going to feel pretty cool after.
Yeah, it'll warm up by the end of next week.
All right. Thanks, Josh, and thanks for sharing your time with us. Have a great night.